Hey guys, so I made a poll like, I think it was 10 days ago. Most of you guys said you wanted to do it, or you wanted me to do it, sorry. So I said fuck it. I've been working on a different video. It's full crouch down forward 2-1 and northern cross, like in combos. Screw difficulty video. That's after this. But anyway, so I'm gonna be watching the trailer, the combo trailer, even though it's over here at the end, but anyway, it doesn't matter. And the clips from the like 2-3 weeks ago. So let's do this. I'm gonna turn this down a bit. Hopefully the volume's just right. I like the outfit, by the way. I think it looks great. I do agree in a way with the main man that they could have kind of gone a little bit more extreme with it, but keeping it honest to like the original ones, I think that is pretty, like, I still think it's pretty good. Like, there's not a problem with it. He looks very, very similar, like very traditional is the word I was trying to think of. Because obviously the bandana on his arm, that's pretty much the same. Gloves and whatnot. It kind of reminds me of like the wraps of like Muay Thai fighters. Because obviously they use like the roll of like I forget what it's called, like the bandage, the wraps stuff. But it kind of reminds me of that. But obviously it's like more, well, over the top. Shotgun shells on his arms, cool. Grenades, etc. Of course, this is the snakeskin, like, secondary pants that he can use. But it's, like, fused with kind of his default in Tekken 7, kind of. But it looks good, though. They've got the skull there, so obviously that's from his, like, balaclava, which I do wish they kept, but they haven't. Unless it's a customizable option, which I would be very happy about. But anyway, yeah, the outfit is very good. Even though it's very traditional, very minimalist in terms of difference, I still think it's pretty good. Of course, the intro is excellent. He's looking really scary. The glad his hair looks like it's not shit anymore. Doesn't look like basically cardboard glued on. So of course the graphics upgrade is enormous, so he looks physically more sort of toned, he looks more defined, as they all do. Looks very good. Very, very good. That also sounds like Farcom Ram, which seems to be a trend in this trailer, is Farcom Ram stuff being put onto him. Which I'm all for because I love Muay Thai myself, I'm a practitioner. People are complaining about the voice. I don't have a problem with the voice is fine. I feel like people who really hate the voice need to just kind of grow up here. It's not that serious, dude. Like, yeah, it's not Tekken 5, yeah, it doesn't mean it's bad, it's still fine. It makes him sound more psycho, so
get ready
I think it's fine.
for the next battle.
Harbinger of Chaos is fine.
TEKKEN 8.
His render looks like ass. He looks, well, his face does anyway. The rest of it looks okay. His face, he looks like Donald Duck on, like, meth. So, unless they kind of went for that with the whole mentally insane thing, which, you know, that's possible. That's entirely possible, which, yeah, I can understand, of course, but I don't know, his face is all fucked. Like, I don't know, man. The hair's good, but the face is fucking shit. What's with the Simon Cowell double chin, like, fucking arse chin? I don't know. In-game he looks fine, though. I don't know.
Challenger.
Classic intro instead of, like, just a normal punch. There's, like, the fire, which is really cool.
Bryan.
An announcer doing a great job, as usual. I'll turn this down, actually. little bit. Whoops. Okay, so now we get into the gameplay finally. Down for 2-1. I'm gonna kind of slow this down for now. Oh, I'm used to actually. No. Actually, no. I'll just leave it like this. I'll just do it standard. Okay. So down for 2-1 backsway. This is good for pressure. Potentially mind games, mix-ups. You can do a lot with this. Later on, he does a war combo with it. I'll just show it right here. Down forward 2-1, hold back 4. Of course, this is good damage, good Oki because it flips over. Let's see. It's very good considering it's +8 on hit as well. That's going to be immense. On block, it's I believe it was -5 or -7. I forget. I think it's -5. Anyway, you can essentially do a lot with that. Here he does it into backsway 1, which is a new move. Seems to be a, well, chip damage, as you can see he's glowing orange. It's plus, how much we don't really know, but probably +2 or 3, because Jack does down forward 2, which is I-15. Bryan's move is I-15, and it interrupts it. Like, not really insanely comfortably interrupted, but like the animation is kind of like half going out. If I can actually get the frame, excuse me. See, he's like quite far into the actual like animation itself, so it's probably like +2, +3. Looks like it's a, well, later on for the rage art he uses it as a counter hit launcher, so it's a high plus unblock counter hit launcher. People were saying it's like a Mach punch with his left arm, but in reality it's more of, visually at least, visually speaking, it's more like his full crouch down forward 2-1, the second hit, the 1. It looks like that, but kind of like reskinned his arm down. But the posture is very similar. The punch is just straight instead of curving around. I don't know, it looks good though. Looks strong. It's also a bound tool, as we see as well in the combo video I'll look at in a bit. Then just forward 2-1-4, which relatively similar, excuse me. The pushback is enormous, a lot more than Tekken 7. I'm pretty sure in Tekken 7 they're like here, or it's maybe a bit further, like here. Not in range of like down 4 being anything worth going for, but like here it's like well far away. I can't tell if this is manual or if this is automatic, like if this is just the string does this automatically. I'm assuming it does. It looked like it did. But regardless, so this is his new taunt variant. So this taunt, you know, in Tekken 7, to get the blue spark, you have to wait until he finishes the whole taunt and he laughs at the end, and then you can do it. But it's like you have to not interrupt the taunt. So the whole taunt has to go through, which is slow as shit. So it ends up being like, what? Like 100 and something frames? It's just not worth it at all, it's terrible. So unless you're, you have a string that makes it happen, which is why they did it here. They made it so that you can actually use it within, within practicality, let's just say. Because in Tekken 7, you've probably seen him in like my combo videos and stuff. I have to like taunt beforehand, because there's not really much of an option, other than say, you rage drive and then you wait until he laughs and then you do like hop kick, whatever. Which is just kind of an inconvenience, really. But, yeah, this is also going to probably add execution. So there's going to be combos where you do like a launcher and then you do this and then another move. You'll probably have to do this and then dash into QCF 3-4. Stuff like that. It's going to be interesting. At first I thought it was armor, but it's not. It's just he's like heating up or whatever, right? It's just the heat ups the steam. I thought it was armor, it's not. And when he finishes it, of course he laughs during this taunt. and he gets the kind of buff on his hands. So this is actually a visual indicator of him having the sort of blue spark thing, right? Which is good, because then you actually know if you have it or not. Because in Tekken 7, there's some combos that I've done where I've had to do them airtight, because from the taunt to the end, and the forward 2 at the end, basically, you have to do it like airtight. Sometimes it's hard to know if excuse me, if the buff is actually still active or not, because it lasts I think it's roughly like 12 seconds, 14 seconds, something like that. The value in cheat engine for the duration is like 777, I believe. But anyway, regardless, should add some interesting mechanics or the sequences. Sidestep 1 doesn't launch, which this change is pretty ass. I don't know why they did that. It's probably not going to be a bound either, because it's a back fist, not an uppercut or a straight punch, so not really sure what they're going to do about that. I guess it's just shit now. It's plus frames. Maybe they make a counter hit launcher. I don't know. Unless that was a counter hit. Was it a counter hit? No, it wasn't. It was a normal hit. Okay, cool. Might be a counter hit launcher now. Maybe reworked. Who knows? But for now, it's just plus frames. This jumping knee is interesting. So it's going to be a different input from Orbital, because Orbital is in Tekken 8. I'll show that. It's in the gameplay clips. I believe it's towards the end. I kind of wish I actually looked for it before showing it, to be honest. I'll mute this as well. I apologize, I should have prepped for this before. I didn't. I think he does it there. At round start. The round ends like abruptly. Here, orbital. So, question is, does he do the forward orbital or does he do the neutral one? He does the forward one. Yeah, because he goes slightly forward. So the orbital launch seems to be exactly the same. Which here he does down forward 2, 1 back sway 4. 4 doesn't bound despite being an upward kick, which is odd, but not that it would be good as a bound anyway. So that's where you can do down forward 2, 1 back sway 1, but that's not really optimal. So none of you ever do that, please. Thank you in advance. But yeah, orbital's still there. So this is a different notation. What the notation is beyond me. I have no clue. Maybe up forward 3+4, so that his up forward 3+4 isn't fucking useless. It's like the generic sort of sidekick, like mid-air sidekick one. Anyway, it could be it's a normal hit knockdown, as you can see. It's probably gonna be safe. Maybe it's a counter hit launcher. Could be like a Marduk up forward 3. Could be interesting. I don't know if that might be a bit over the top, especially because his new quarter circle forward string would also kind of become a second hit counter hit launcher, which is kind of random, but anyway, it might be a counter hit launcher, maybe not. It might launch from the string the same way, might not. But anyway, that's what we know is a normal hit knockdown, and it's very likely to be safe on block. And probably a bound as well, like on its own, which I don't know why you use it on its own. Excuse me. But regardless, anyway. Now here I can't tell if he actually taunts manually or if it's it looks like a bit it's like not smooth. And he gets to here and it looks like he kind of jolts a bit. See? Like there, it's like he jolts. It looks a bit not smooth. Because it all looks smooth and then there it's like he changes animation. So this may be just a piss take, and they may just be inputting it manually. But something to note, regardless of whatever happens here, like whatever, if this is a real sequence or if it's just like a bait sequence, because sometimes they do that in trailers where they make it look like sequences are realistic, but they actually just are completely not happening. But anyway, this recovers crazy fast. He just did it, man. Like, he only just used it, and he's already recovered. He just used it, and steps out of it. Here he does forward 2-1 extension string. Now this is cool. So in Tekken 7 you've got forward 2-1-4, 2-1-4, 2, which is basically forward 2-1-4, and then it's like back 2-1-4, and then FF2, right? In animation, that is. But here it's forward 2-1, 2-3-2, but visually it's forward 2-1, down 2-3, and then whatever the punch is at the end, it's not really got a notation. It's cool how he heats up in his animations and stuff. So they replaced the blue sparks with fire, which I think is quite amazing, really. It really suits the character. But here, his skin goes red and he heats up. It obviously extinguishes the fire after punching, and then he cools down, and skin goes back to normal. That's a really nice touch. They stay on fire, which is also pretty cool. So all the blue sparks in the game, like of Bryan specifically, have been changed to the flames, which I am super in approval of. I love it. It's cool. Boom. Was good. Very good. Attention to detail too. It's like flames when he punches, and then as soon as it hits, all of steam, and then he cools off. Very, very good. Attention to detail. So Jack, down for 2 block, obviously jet upper for -14, it's -15, but jet upper works, of course. Jet upper is probably going to be a bound in combos because of 3-3-2, which you're going to see soon, is a bound as well. So by association, since the last hits are the same thing, well, the last hit of 3-3-2 is the same thing, it is just a jet upper. Jet upper is going to bound too, which is odd, but it should allow for some interesting combo routes, because you can do back 3 side cancel jet upper, like in shorter combos, I suppose. So you could probably do some crazy optimization with that. But anyway, regardless, forward 1+2 is Power Crush. Now this is kind of a good thing, but it's also kind of a bad thing. Now this is a good thing because it's a long one, and it's good that it's long, because you can interrupt longer strings with multiple hits. Now, that's the pro to this sort of change, right? The con to this change is that because it's long and it's a high, if people get hits in and they recover fast enough to duck under the high, you're going to get fucking annihilated. Your health bar is going to disappear in 2 seconds. That's why FF2 is so good as a power crush, because it's so short that you'd use it to stop one move, to catch people. Either just, say for example, when Arslan hit Jimmy J with he basically knocked him away as Kazumi, and he ran up into a while running 2. He did the while running 2, but Jimmy stood up and did an immediate FF2, and what happened is Arslan tanked the running 2 with the armor of FF2 and smacked him and hit him to, like, basically as a return strike. So he ended up, I think he actually ended up winning that trade, which is a kind of a good example of why that was so good. I've done it before millions of times where people do strings and you just catch them in between hits, because FF2 is, well, it's the actual move itself is I-13, but the fastest you can get it in neutral is I-16, because it's forward neutral, forward for 1 frame, and then forward +2 on the 2nd frame of forward. So it's basically 1-1-1-13. Anyway, jab, back to 1-4. Now this is a really good change. So they changed it so that his current bound tool is well, his current screw tool, remains in Tekken 8 as a bound. Now this is extremely convenient because this basically just confirms that his staples are just going to be like the same as Tekken 7, which is pretty convenient. Although, one thing that I don't really understand, excuse me, is I'm just gonna go show it now, not this here. Excuse me, wrong combo. 4 plus 2 jab, and here he does 1 plus 2 1, so that's still in the game. But the thing is, they've reskinned the second hit of 1 plus 2 1 to be basically the back fist of the second one of back 2 1. It's just 1 plus 2 into back 2 1, like the second hit, and he sways into QCB 1. Okay. Now this tells me that because of the reskin, he is going to be able to do back 2 1 into sway back. So when I think about that, it kind of defeats the point of making this bound anyway, because it's going to do more damage. So I don't know really if that's the case. Like the back 2 1 is like back swayable, so you can do back 2 1 sway back, which would be cool, by the way. It should be possible to do back 2 1 forward sway. That would be incredible as well. So you could do 1 plus 2 1 forward sway. That would be kind of cool. But anyway, it bounds. Of course, you get massive frames. He's swaying. So obviously in these trailers they're playing very unoptimal. So he's swaying, and Jack hasn't even finished hitting the floor yet. Then a QCF 2-2. QCF 2-2. Which tells me they're going to remove QCB 2-1, or QCF, sorry, 2-1. That was his war carry in Tekken 7. This is an easier floor break, and this is very resemblant of Falcon Ram's down forward 2-1. Because if you know, that's basically the body shot into, he spins, and then he does the left punch downward. Now this basically looks like an identical mirrored punch on his right arm instead of his left, which is cool. It also kind of looks like the second hit of forward 4-1 of Bryan in Tekken 7, but with his right arm. It looks pretty much identical. So I don't know. It's probably a Falcon Ram reference. Anyway, that's kind of good because you don't have to do some weird shit, like you don't have to like screw and then dash back 1 and then you get a shit, like, you get a shit, excuse me, thingy, you get shit axis, because basically the or opponent position in midair, because when you spike with this and back 1, and I think that's it actually. Mainly with those two mainly, is back 1 and forward 4-1, that's it. You tend to, basically the opponent will be face down, feet away, so if you jab them or you hit them with anything outside of a hard hit like a jet upper or just a screw move, then the axis will fix. But if you don't use either of the two, then the axis is just, it remains like a fisherman slam axis, which is terrible. But this allows for an easier floor break with that. So you could probably just do some like, you could do some experimental stuff with this, especially since combos seemingly are going to be longer. You could do like a very long string into this, and then bound to reset the axis, and then run forward into the normal combo like ender. So it should be interesting, especially from sway forward. It makes it easier, as I said. So QCF 1 plus 2 in Tekken 7, that's his wall bounce. Now I don't know what purpose it's going to serve in Tekken 8. It might just be a generic wall splat move, which it would still be insane if they haven't tweaked it, because Bryan's QCF 1 plus 2 for those that don't know, it essentially works kind of like, I hate to compare Bryan to Noctis sometimes, but it's kind of like Noctis is down back 1+2, where essentially the closer you stand, the easier it is to step, but the further away you stand, it becomes more and more towards impossible to step. So if you're standing as close as Jack is, you can step it easily, right? But if you're standing here, and let's say the move actually goes off here, so he's doing the move now, right? Just as an example. Jack cannot step it either way. Assuming Jack was like Xiaoyu or something, right, or Lily with a great sidestep, they'd not be able to step it from that range. But if they're like literally point blank, then they can. It's probably it's -12 in Tekken 7. I don't know what they're gonna do in Tekken 8 with it, the frames and that, but we'll see. Now this is interesting because this looks like a forward 2. If you see here, the air like expands off of the floor, which is something that happens when he uses his forward 2. Unfortunately, it's hard to see because of the animation, which I'm assuming they did on purpose, but it looks like he's doing a Mac punch. He's doing an FF2, but then he gets hit, and he has like this fake armor animation, and then he counters. So this is a physical, like, reversal. Now this is interesting because if you look here, when he's doing this move, it's irrelevant to the actual move because he has it before. See? He has the flames before. Excuse me, it's late, I'm tired. He has the flames before, so it has nothing to do with QCF 1+2. So then, when he does the FF2, obviously it's going to use up the spark, hence the flames, right? So then he tanks it, and then he does this reversal, and now he doesn't have the sparks anymore. So this tells me that when he's got the heat boost on, when his spark is on, I'll just say when his spark is like active. When his spark is active, his forward 2 is like an early frame reversal, like auto parry reversal, which is really strange, but kind of interesting. Also, something I'd like to point out is the eye thing is Jack. This has nothing to do with Bryan, to my knowledge, because Bryan is not fully recovered from his move yet, but it's already happening with Jack. So, that's whatever. That's a Jack thing. But of course, now we've got the stage like wall hazard, which is a huge relaunch. Here we have, like I said earlier, 332 bounds now. Puts him on the wall. This is disgusting height for a wall. Look how long he waits for him to fall down. He could have at least done like probably a QCF 2-4 there. Anyway, he does up forward 3. Because they're not showing the optimal stuff for the characters. Up forward 3 is reskinned to look less like a robotic mess and more like a humane function. Look at that, it looks cool. It looks like it's 3+4 actually. No, I see that now. Like the posture of his like torso, look, it looks like a 3+4. It's cool, it makes sense. Now here's the machine gun punches. So in Tekken 7, of course, it's down forward 1-1-1-1-2, right? Well here, it's going to be down 2-2-2-3. Assuming there's no more punches than the third one. So here, just up forward 3. And then he does down 2-2-2-3. I love this Muay Thai pose as well, which a lot of people didn't see. This is really cool. They are really bringing out the Muay Thai essence of Bryan, and I absolutely love it. It's great. It's great. Makes him look more badass to me. I don't know why I'm replaying it. But yeah, oh yeah, what I was gonna say. It has to be down 2-2, right? Because it can't be down forward 2 because, well, we've seen it's there. And it can't be down back 2 either, because in the gameplay clips he actually uses down back 2. I don't really know where he uses it. I'll just like quickly have a glance for it. Okay, internet being shit. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the start. Sorry about this. I didn't actually plan for this to be shit. Hatchet's still there, which is good to know. Back by 4 is still there, which is good to know. Problem is we don't know what either of them do on hit, because the only time he hits Hatchet out of the 3 times he uses it is when he kills him. So you can't see shit. One of them he kills him, and the other one he misses. So, oh sorry, the other 2 he misses. This is interesting. So forward 1+2. The knockback is huge, so you're not going to get a follow-up here unless this dash in allows QCB4, which it could do. Obviously, if the enemy back rolls, then, well, you ain't getting shit, but Mad Kick is still there, of course. He hits it once in this trailer somewhere, but I can't remember where. Down back 2, there you go. Same effect on hit. It looks exactly the same. So we can safely assume that that's just still down back 2 in terms of notation. So this is going to be down 2, which makes sense because that would explain why they've got it on down 2, because they've removed the old down 2 and they've put it into the forward 2-1, forward 2-1, 2-3-2, because this is literally, animation wise, these hits are down 2, 3, down to the exact frame. It's the same animation. Let's see. And the 3 at the end, my typos, love it. This encounter is really cool. Great pose there. In the lore, apparently, we don't really know if they've actually known each other at all, but I guess this is just implying that they do. Let's skip through it. Actually, you know what? Just out of respect for this scene, I'm just gonna play it normal speed. Cool.
I'll let you taste the power of my fists.
Now the laugh was kind of awkward. I don't know if they were intentionally doing it because he's supposedly taking the piss out of Paul, which is possible, or if it's just a crap laugh. I'm gonna assume that he's taking a piss, just for the sake of the benefit of the doubt. If it's a crap laugh, I'd hope they'd remove it and replace it. Cool Tekken. Is it Tekken 4 reference? Tekken 6? I forget which Tekken it is where they clash fists, I think. Probably be Tekken 6, right? I don't know, I forgot. Anyway, it's one of the older Tekken games. These guys clash fists in the intro of the game. Counter hit back 1, launches to basically Switzerland and back. Down 3+4-2 being a bound is an interesting choice, because the 2 of the string does absolutely absurd damage. So this also means that by association they'll have to change Hatchet, because Hatchet's not going to have the same knockdown it has in 7, like currently. Because if it did, in here, then Hatchet would be a launcher. So they've obviously planned ahead of time, and they've adjusted Hatchet, so that's fine. So that's his heat bound. It's the same animation as down 1+2-2, Snake Bomb, but way faster. Then 3-3-4, I don't really care for this. So here he steps and he does sidestep 2-1 seemingly. Now this is very good. I like this because it looks like Farcom Ram's forward 2 mixed with, like without the extension, mixed with the second hit of his forward 2-1. Farcom Ram this is. So it's like his FF2 and then his forward to 1 second hit, like put into one string. It's a beautiful string, I love it. But of course it's Muay Thai since it's from Falcon Run. This stun is bullshit, by the way. It's just for visual. You can just literally just jab out of it. You can just move. So this heat heat smash. I hate the names. I can't remember them. He actually trips there as well, which is a cool little detail. If he hits him hard enough, he just like skips to stay on bounce. Excuse that. So it's cool. Taunt down by 1+2, that's just standard follow-up. Standard easy taunt follow-up. But interestingly, so before he does the string, he doesn't have the fire on his hands, okay? He doesn't. Then when he does taunt down by 1+2, heat engager, runs forward, he has it. So heat puts him into the spark like state. Here's a weird one. So he does 3+4 on normal hit, mind you, it hits. And then he does this charge up 2, which looks incredibly badass. This is one of the coolest looking moves I think I've ever seen, period. But obviously it's a Falcon Ram charge up, right? 3+4, charge up 2. Yes! I love that shit. So he splats him on the wall. Now bear in mind, this is a guard break, as I said. So he guards this. He blocks it and he goes on the wall. Just like Falcon Ram's like back to charge 1 or 3, was it? Is it forward 3, 2, 4, 4 into 3? Like hold and it splats. There's a few other strings he has, and it's 3, 4, 3 hold and it splats. But regardless, now this is interesting for a few reasons. Now not only is this an immensely powerful seemingly guard break, which allows for a ball splat on block into an easy bound with your upper, it could have a few hidden functions here. So we haven't seen 3+4 counter hit yet, so we don't know if it even counter hit launches, but which it probably will, and I would be very, very surprised and very annoyed if they removed it, because it's basically the main move that I fucking use in this game. Okay? But anyway, let's just assume the 3+4 counter hit launches as normal in Tekken 7, right? This charge up 2, not only is it in neutral, gonna bound, because it's a huge uppercut, it's gonna bound and it's gonna do ridiculous damage as well. It's also going to allow for an easy wall combo, because think about it, if you counter hit 3+4 at the wall, they don't splat on the wall, they just crumple over like a, say like Kazuya down forward 2 counter hit stun, right? Where they like stumble on their knees and they put their arm out and then they slowly crumple over onto the floor. It's that kind of stun. So the 2 is just going to bound him straight onto the wall. So it could be like a safety net, so that if you press 3+4 and you don't expect anything but you commit anyway, that you basically get as much of a reward as you deserve for committing to it. Here's the wall combo that I mentioned earlier. Forward 2 is a heat dash, that's good. This hurt my eyes, but back 3 forward, 2, 4. This is the new bound. Now this is extremely, extremely strong from forward sway. The reason I say that is because it's only 2 hits. Now you may be wondering, why is it just 2 hits is infinitely better than, say, back to forward 414 in Tekken 7? Well, this is the why. So when you did back to forward 414, in most scenarios, the ender that you got afterwards was pretty shit, because the distance between you and the character that you're hitting it with is immense after the screw. So you get to run up, and sure, you can back 3 or whatever, but you're not going to get back to forward 2-1. You're not going to get back to forward sidestep cancel forward 4-2 or whatever else. So yeah, it's insane that they made it bound from just a quarter circle string, quarter circle forward. That's amazing. Plus, as I said, 2 hits, it's 1 hit less, so you'll have much easier time adjusting combos to get better enders and etc. Notice, right, note here, note the height. So he hits the ground, so Paul hits the floor. Alright. He's swaying, he's starting to sway. Oh, they did it late, okay. So basically, Paul hits the floor, and Bryan's already swaying into QCF 3-4 FF2 Spark, which looks absolutely magnificent, by the way. One thing I think is weird is combos are going to be absolutely insane in this game. Now, the reason I say that is because if you count the hits, in Tekken 7 you can do 4 hits, and mind you, this is Farcom Ram only. Actually, no, it's Farcom Ram and Marduk only. Most consistent on Farcom Ram, of course, because of long legs. It would be, say, launch, and then you do 4 hits, and then dash, QCF 3-4, forward forward 2, from a specific sidestep left angle, right? Now here, he does 1, this is the launch, so I count that as 1, right? And then 2, 3, 4, this is the bound, okay? And then he does 5, 6, 7. Now this is supposed to be only possible on Farcom Ram and Marduk, as I said, in Tekken 7. But he's doing it on Paul, and there's more than enough, like, space. Like, he's extremely close. So he's only here. Like, this is crazy. Like, he almost overshoots the punch because of the range. Also, they fixed forward forward 2. This is a nerd fucking nitpick, but I'm gonna say it anyway. They fixed forward forward 2 so that when it actually hits, on the first frame it hits, it transitions into the cinematic camera view. Because in Tekken 7 it takes 1 frame for it to, basically it hits, and the frame it hits, the frame after that it goes into the camera. But now they fixed it. Right, combos are going to be insane. Quarter circle back 1, as I said earlier in the trailer at the start, pretty much. Counter hit launcher, and then rage art, which also looks great. So pretty much just Fisherman, the flurry that people have been comparing to Jack, which I can see that, but what's the point comparing? Just enjoy it for what it is, you know? Appreciate it for what it is. Now this is just embracing his cyborg side, and I really love this. So it zooms out of his eye. Now this is the most menacing I think anyone's ever seen this character, period, point blank. He looks like a literal absolute demon. And this shot reminds me of like Asura's Wrath, just from the like detail styling of it. It's kind of like Asura's Wrath but more realistic animated. Because Asura's Wrath is kind of like a fusion of like this and Borderlands, for example. But this is kind of simple. It feels eerily similar. So that's really cool. Of course, this punch has huge impact. The outro, the minigun, it's amazing. Very character fitting. Of course, it jams. He doesn't run out of bullets because the bullet, literally the ammunition belt is still there. It's still in the gun. So he's got plenty of ammo. It just overheated because it's a shit minigun, I suppose. So he slings it. Cool. So that's what that's about. I loved everything about this. I don't have a single complaint about it. I don't have a single complaint about anything in the trailer. The only thing that I could really nitpick to complain about is the fact that he doesn't have his balaclava, like in his default costume, right? Because that was one of my favorite things about it. Not necessarily the jacket, but the balaclava was incredibly fitting. So I'm assuming it's going to be a customization option, just like Paul's hair. So everybody can stop whining about Paul's hair being shit. With his Karen hair. Sure, but you can just customize it, so everybody stop whining. The Farcom Ram vibes are undeniably amazing. Farcom Ram is dead. But yeah, I'm on board with everything they've done. With actually, I don't have a single complaint about any character they've shown yet, because Huarang is a huge departure from Tekken 7. Jack is Jack plus Gigas plus prototype Jack, which I also like. Say for example, like he does the is it the forward 1-2 up forward 1? So he does like the forward 1-2 and then the up forward 1 arm drill of prototype Jack, which that was really cool. King's is great. Lily's is great. Lily's rage art is something else. The beef between her and Asuka is pretty cool as well. I'll probably be, for those that are curious, I'll be playing Bryan, of course. But the other one that I'll probably play is Jun, because I've always loved Jun's visual design in like the game she was in. Because I saw her in like Tag 2 and such, and I was like, damn, this character is absolutely beautiful as a character. So I'll definitely be picking her up and learning her in Tekken 8. Even if it's just as a sub, I'll pick her up and play her. But as I said, all the character trailers are looking great, so I don't have a single complaint about any of them. I guess the one thing to complain about Leroy, I guess, is because he's got like multiple of those cinematic things, and it's just like, is he just gonna be basically is fighting Leroy just gonna be like watching cinematics back to back simulator, which I guess it could be, but hopefully not. But that's just nitpicking. I can't wait for Lydia's reveal. I love this character. I'm sad that Zafina's not in, because I also absolutely love Zafina as a character. I'm always on board with like the Egyptian style characters and like clothing, music, all that stuff. So, kind of brownie points, I suppose. One thing to note is I don't agree with the dumbing down of the execution of law. I don't agree at all. They made it so that his DSS, for those that don't know, or if you don't know, you've probably been living under a rock, no offense, but his DSS input has been changed from back forward forward to just hold forward. So now what you can do is you can just run up into, as people know, you'd run up as law, you do the bound, or you do the screw, right, in Tekken 7, do back to 1 after how many hits, and then you just run all the way up point blank, and then you just hold forward and do forward 4-3, and then you do back forward forward. Well, you do back forward and then wait and then forward 4. Well, it'd be forward 1 frame and then next frame forward 4, and you'd get 4-3 legend kick, right? Well, now all you need to do is run up and just hold forward as usual, but you don't even do back forward. You just hold forward and then just do 4-3 and then wait and then 4. Just holding forward, which is pathetic. I don't like the change at all. I saw something about a just frame giant swing input, which I don't really know anything about that, but I saw there was something about that, so that's kind of interesting. I'm hoping that taunt remains the same. Him taunting from, using heat smash from taunt was an unbelievable sight. I don't know why I didn't mention this before. This was incredible to watch. Now this is actually Josie's rage art. For those that may have keen eye, it's literally Josie's rage art. So she does the knee, and then the volleyball smack, and then what she would actually do is she'd jump up and then slam you down, kind of like Panda's volleyball rage art. But then he does, obviously Bryan does like a wind up, he heats up, and then he punches you across the stage. Very cool. Now, as for the combos, of course this one is completely unoptimal, as they all fucking are. Jab forward 1+2, jab, 1+2, 1 back sway 1, FF2, heat dash, which apparently resets the distance of the combo, which if that's true, then that's utterly insane. But regardless, yeah, he looks, everything is just great. Combos seem like, just for the sake of looking, like, all the other combos like electric, back 4, down forward 1 2 bound. Well, actually, it's heat bound, and then 3 1 forward, 1 forward 1 plus 2 bound. Then run up 3 1 CD3. So 3 1 forward, and then it's 3. So all the combos are just longer. Except this one, I guess. It's kind of like similar length. Interesting combo route, but yeah. This combo's ass as well. It hurts to see them do while sending 1 2 into fucking back to 1 plus 2. There's crazier shit to figure out. The heat dash is going to be crazy if it actually does reset the distance like people are speculating it does. Then that's incredible. So, but yeah, gameplay clips, there's not really much else to talk about. He does do forward 4, but he doesn't do forward 4 1. Now forward 4 looks identical, he just didn't have the extension. And forward 4 1 has to be there, because if forward 4 is there, why would you take away the 1? You know, then it makes it literally useless. So yeah, I think overall, people need to stop whining about shit. It's not that fucking serious. They've done an incredible job. Appreciate for what it is. But I think that's everything. Just gonna check my notes. Anything I didn't mention? Oh yeah, he did use back 4 as well in the trailer, but it didn't hit, because of course it didn't. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the little breakdown, and have yourself a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, whatever applies to you. Goodbye.